Hey, first grade, today we're going to take a break from our writing and we're just going to listen to a story and talk about examples of how this little girl made an impact in the world. So Olivia lives in the southern United States near the ocean, and there was a massive oil spill in the area that she lived, and that killed a lot of wildlife, including birds. And because she was learning about birds and she considered herself an ornithologist, she decided that she was going to do something about it. So she loved to draw birds. This pelican is an example of some of her artwork. So what she did is she drew tons and tons of birds on postcards and other cards and sold them and donated the money to efforts that helped to capture the wildlife that were harmed, to clean them, and then to release them back into the wild so that they were healthy. So we're going to read her story, and her book is teaching us about different kinds of birds, and each page she has some of her drawings. Discovering birds. Birds are fascinating, intriguing, and unique creatures. Some birds are colorful and pretty to look at. Other birds, like the chickadee, are so friendly that they will eat right out of your hand. There are lots of different types of birds. Some are all around you, in trees, on the tops of telephone poles, and even on your roof. Everyday birds. You may not notice the birds around you, but there are lots of them outside your window. You don't have to travel anywhere to look for them. For example, the graceful barn swallow lives in the crevices of buildings and on the sides of schools. They can usually be found dancing in soccer fields or meadows. If you take a look around, you might catch a glimpse of a white-breasted nuthatch climbing a tree upside down. Which birds do you see outside your window? Birds in flight. Did you know that birds learn how to fly from their parents? Bird parents will nudge the babies off the nest. The chicks will either fall or fly out of the tree. If they fall, the parents will swoop them back up until they learn how to fly. Some birds can't fly, like penguins and the kiwi from New Zealand, but most birds are amazing flyers. Songbirds fly in a flutter pattern. They flutter and then close their wings before fluttering again. Vultures fly in circles looking for prey. Ducks and waterfowl flap their wings very hard and never take a break. Their way of flying looks like it hurts. There is no other animal equipped just like birds. Even the bat can't fly as well or aerodynamically as a bird can. Birds are flying elegance. Birds that live in the woods. Most birds live in trees. And where are there lots of trees? In woods and forests. Some of the best bird watching can be done in a forest, far away from civilization. If you sit still, birds will certainly come out of hiding. Be sure to bring your binoculars and a camera. And don't just look up. I once found a hummingbird nest on the ground of a wooded area. Weird and wacky birds. Some birds do the most interesting, unusual things, whether it's their curious call or the strange shape of their bill, or perhaps their unique role in our environment. Some birds don't seem like birds at all. Endangered and extinct birds. Even though people are working hard to protect birds and other animals, we are still doing things that can hurt them. As a result, some of our world's most amazing creatures have disappeared or are dying out. Many species of birds are endangered, threatened, or extinct. Bird habitats are being destroyed to build condos, hotels, and other buildings, and by overfishing, pollution, pesticides, and water drainage. If that happens, birds that stay in one place for their whole lives, like the island brown kiwi, have nowhere to live. The good news is that hard work and dedication can save birds. Bald eagles used to be endangered. It took a lot of hard work and conservation efforts, and now our nation's bird is only slightly threatened. But there are still many birds in trouble. Saving the Gulf. The bad news is that a lot of animals are still in danger of being completely wiped out. In April 2010, my grandparents told me about a giant oil spill that happened in the Gulf of Mexico deep under the water. The oil was going to hurt all kinds of marine animals that lived there, including birds like pelicans that have just come off the endangered species list. I got really upset. My first memory of birds is of the brown pelicans and great blue herons that live in Alabama. My granny and granddad would take me fishing and show me those beautiful birds. Who was going to save them? I ran right upstairs and wrote a letter to Audubon. I told them that I was willing to help and wanted to make a difference for those birds. I wanted to be their voice. So this is the letter she wrote to the Audubon Society, which is a group of people that work very hard to save birds. She wrote, "Dear Audubon Society, as you are all aware of, the oil spill in the Gulf is devastating. My mom has already donated a lot of money to help, but I have an idea that may also help. I am a decent drawer, and I was wondering if I could sell some bird paintings and give the profits to your organization. My mom is in touch with an art gallery where I live. She is going to sell them there. I also am hoping to go to Cornell in the future. I want to become an ornithologist. I know a few species of birds. I also acknowledge that this is breeding time for plovers, terns, etc. I will do all in my strength to earn money. All I need is your okay. Here is a picture of a northern cardinal as a sample. Thank you for your time, Olivia, 11 years old and willing to help." So then, after she sent her letter to the Audubon Society, she wrote that Audubon read my letter and said they'd be happy to accept my help. Since I like to draw birds, I decided I would donate bird paintings to people who contributed money to Audubon's Gulf Cleanup Campaign. Slowly, we spread the word online, and the first donation came in. I was thrilled that someone wanted to help out. My first thought was, I just took a first step for those birds. After that, the donations kept pouring in. We got 500 requests for paintings in the first month. Since starting the Save the Gulf campaign, I have spoken at the United Nations in New York City and in Washington, D.C., where I met President Obama and his family and was awarded the White House's Champion for Change Service Innovator title. I have also been able to spread the word about animal preservation at the TEDx conventions, on television, on the radio, and in magazines. The message I keep telling everyone is that all animals are special and important to our ecosystem. We need to work together to protect them. Imagine if 100 years from now, children wouldn't get to see the variety of beautiful creatures on this planet. We can't let that happen. So here are some pictures. So remember, this is a true story. These are pictures of Olivia on a newspaper, meeting her congressman. She was out doing some bird watching. She went on TV and talked to some people on TV. She worked with Kevin Jonas on Disney's Friends for Change, helping out with birds. And this is a picture of Olivia with a little bird friend. All right, crew. So this was just a fun story to remind us how important birds are and that no matter how little you are, you can always make a difference. So your only assignment for today is to send a drawing into Dojo that talks about your favorite part of the story or something that you noticed.